It is 6 o'clock on Thursday, November 13th of 2025. I would like to call this board meeting to order. First, we're going to start with a public hearing on the retire, rehire. And if anyone has any comments. Okay. Then I would like to call this regular board meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now we're going to have a presentation of the colors. Please stand.
Vote. Raise hand. Arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red flames bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved?
Second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I need an approval of the minutes of the board regular meeting that was held on October 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I need an approval of the minutes of the board special meeting held on October 28th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I would like to hand over to our Veterans Day program.
Mr. Gary Knepp, can you step up to the podium, please?
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Right there. A little green button, or...
Well, as the saying goes, as old as I am, you never can find out what's going on. 60 years ago, Milford High School was uneasy. Many of its students were 8,000 miles away fighting in Vietnam. Vietnam was not a place like any other, but an alien world. It was beautiful, exotic, and deadly. To the soldiers, the Marines, and the soldiers based in the northern parts of South Vietnam, it was a nightmarish place to wage war. They were rugged mountains covered with vegetation, mountain streams full of blood-sucking leeches. The guards were inserted by helicopter into this green hell to battle a tough and difficult enemy, resilient. Temperatures often spiked 100 degrees with 100% humidity. Men carried 100-pound packs on their backs as they humped up and down mountains. To avoid ambushes, they left the trails and hacked their way through the jungle using machetes, sometimes getting as little as 100 yards in a day. Heat stroke was common, sometimes leading into death. Our men encountered stinging bees, fleas, biting flies, leeches, 60 kinds of venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, foot-long centipedes, and tigers and elephants. During the rainy season, it was nearly impossible to keep your feet dry. Those who were unable to do so developed what is known as trench foot, where the skin off your feet would shift off in sheets. The sharp edges of a 12-foot tall elephant grass could easily slice through your uniform, cut you, and introduce jungle rot to your system. Booby traps were always a danger. A nearly invisible wire stretched across a mountain trail could trigger a hand grenade or a mortar shell. Bungee sticks, sharpened bamboo stakes dipped in human waste, were placed into leaf-covered holes along the way, and it could easily penetrate the boot of an American soldier. A retired sergeant major who fought the Nazis in World War II, the Chinese in Korea, told me that the most difficult war for him was Vietnam. And that was because you couldn't tell who the enemy was. In the morning, a guy could be your best friend, and in the evening, he'd be your worst enemy. There's a platoon of Marines that had adopted a street kid. One day, the kid was crying, and he walked up to the Marine posting guard. He'd been forced to carry a hand grenade. And it was up to the soldier there at guard to determine who was to live or die, he or that poor kid. Milford paid a very high price for Vietnam. 7 of our young men killed, the most of any Claremont community. Goshen lost 6, 5 of whom lived on one road, Parker Road. I'd like to share some of their names with you as we proceed. Rodney Huddleston, Roger Lay, Dennis Johnston, Daniel Fleck, Clifford Leffler, Gerald Hill, and John Spidell. I would like to share with you some of the stories of these 3 young men from from Milford. Rodney Huddleston was very popular at Milford High School, especially with the girls. He was always happy, cracking jokes, smiling. He played football, but even in the Drauflin football shot where the guys were looking like they're real tough, like Redmond, you could tell Rodney was on the edge of laughing. He couldn't take himself too seriously, and he was a class clown. American Legion Post sponsored an essay writing contest about what it means to be an American. Principal E. Tut Lambert read the winning essay over the loudspeaker. It created quite a buzz among the students. They tried to figure out who had written such an essay, fine essay. When Mr. Lambert announced that Rodney had written it, there was stunned silence, because it was hard for the students to believe that Rodney could have performed so well on that kind of a test. Rodney enrolled in Ohio University as an art student, but decided that college wasn't for him. He met with a few friends at Red's Tavern. I know a few of you remember Red's. After a couple of beers, they both decided to join the Marines. Rodney excelled, leading his class. He joined the elite Marine Force Recon Unit and was deployed to Vietnam. On December 17, 1967, Rodney and his 12-man patrol were inserted into an area near Phu Bai. They ran into nearly 100 Viet Cong. A fierce battle ensued, at times becoming hand-to-hand combat. About to be swamped by a superior force and running out of ammunition, the patrol requested extraction. It was dusk when the Marines were emerging from a tree line. They were met by a helicopter. blazing away with 50 millimeter machine guns, killing Rodney in the process. Rodney was not alone in this matter. Some historians have estimated that friendly fire, what the military calls misadventures, caused the death of between 10 to 15% of American casualties in Vietnam. Others say the number is much higher, maybe as many as 49%. It's always been a problem, and it continues to be one with the military. Years later, the Hudson family received a phone call from the pilot who had killed Rodney. He had told them that he had suffered intense guilt every day since that happened. He was asking for their forgiveness. The family told him he was not to blame, never was. It was just an accident of war. Dennis Johnson. Dennis was as strong as an ox. As a guard on Milford's football team, he loved to crack holes in the defensive line and giving his running backs room to run. He loved to play baseball, fish, and go-kart racing. Johnson joined the Marines shortly after high school. His unit was known as Hell in a Helmet. It was based in the mountains of South Vietnam. His comrades said he was gung-ho, a Marine's Marine, who always could count on him. On February 10, 1969, Johnson was in a fire base near Laos. A helicopter carrying ammunition crashed about 600 yards outside of the base's perimeter. Johnson immediately got out and started running towards the burning chopper, just as the 50 millimeter machine gun fire and artillery shells were cooking off and exploding as he was in there. He went in several times and saved 3 crew members. His courage and disregard for his own safety during that daring rescue could have earned him a Medal of Honor, except that this did not happen under combat. He was awarded, however, the Navy Marine Corps Medal for displaying exceptional valor in a non-combat situation. This was the same medal that John F. Kennedy was awarded after World War II. On March 28, 1969, Johnson's regiment was involved in a large search and destroy mission at Dong Ma Mountain. His fire team was walking point. Heavy machine gun fire from a concealed North Vietnamese bunker erupted, cutting down the first man in line. The second man ran to save him, and he too was shot down. Johnson directed his men into firing positions, and then with his gun blazing, he runs up and tries to save the other man, but he was shot and killed as well. In a little over a month, Lance Corporal Johnson displayed extraordinary examples of courage and devotion to his men. In May of 2003, the Milford Veterans of Foreign Wars Post named his post after Dennis Johnson. Louis John Spidell. John Spidell was a classic overachiever. He excelled in everything he did in college, in high school, college, and in the U.S. Army. After graduating from Milford in 1964, he went to West Point, joining 2 other cadets from Milford. I don't know if there's any time that there had been 3 people from one community in West Point, but that was quite a record. His stated goal was to become an astronaut. Brilliant was the way his roommate used to describe John's ability in calculus. He scanned the page and immediately understood it. His roommate said that he would not have passed calculus without John's help. Spidell earned the prestigious Ranger's tab, becoming one of the Army's elite warriors. His next stop was armor school at Fort Knox. He was first in his class and was deployed to Germany as a tank commander. To satisfy his need for speed, John purchased a Porsche and spent a lot of his off-duty hours going 150 miles an hour, probably down the Autobahn, speeding quite fast. After marrying Ellen, his high school sweetheart, Spidell went to helicopter school. He arrived in Vietnam on December 28, 1970, ironically at Camp Eagle, which is the home of the 101st Airborne. He began flying recon missions in small chopper that would zip along at 150 miles an hour at treetop level. He switched to flying a Huey, the workhorse of the American helicopter fleet. He quickly earned the admiration of the men of the 101st for his daring and his flying expertise. Spidell operated in the infamous 35-mile-long Al Shal Valley. The NVA occupied the area with a large force, trying to protect its vital supply lines of the Ho Chi Minh Trail. A platoon of Rangers was was conducting a mission on a rim overlooking the Oshawa Valley. The Americans came under heavy fire, sustaining casualties. Captain Spidell flew in replacements for the wounded. As he was lifting off, John's chopper was hit by small arms fire. The chopper did not respond to his heroic efforts to right the machine. When the rotor blades clipped a tree, the wounded bird went down, flipping over 3 times and resulting upside down. Spidell and the pilot, his co-pilot, survived the crash, although both were very severely wounded and could not exit the chopper. The Army tried everything it could to rescue these 2 pilots. Over 3 days, multiple rescue attempts failed. The enemy was just too strong. To soften up the NVA, jets, Cobra gunship, rockets, and machine gun fire, and even a B-52 Arc Light bombing mission were conducted. Only when a full company of Rangers was mobilized and was able to fight its way down to the crash site were the 2 pilots able to be rescued. The co-pilot had died. John Seidel had survived, but he was badly burned. His legs were crushed, and they were infested with gangrene. John was sent to an American hospital in Okinawa to recover. Ellen and her father were in the San Francisco airport on their way to see John when they received a terrible phone call. John had died. Captain Spidell was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart, Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star to accompany the Silver Star that had previously been awarded. He is buried in Milford's Greenlawn Cemetery. A great sense of common loss runs through all these stories, and it's just hard to imagine what we would be if these guys were here. 2.7 million Americans served in Vietnam. 58,000 were killed. Another 300,000 were wounded. Certain wounds were expected: missing limbs, burns, traumatic brain injuries. PTS and survivor's guilt. But what was not expected were the cancers, heart conditions, and neurologic damage associated with chemical defoliant Agent Orange. Agent Orange was very effective in killing trees and denying communists the use of hiding spots in the jungle or staging areas for attacks. It also was deadly to anyone exposed to the white powder, containing dioxin, one of the worst toxic substances ever created. It is believed that 300,000 Americans have died since the war of Agent Orange. Try to imagine that scope of that 300,000. That's almost 5 times the amount of men who were killed in battle, who were killed in this 15 years later. There's a saying that goes something like this: a person has not truly died so long as they are remembered. I ask you to remember. Thank you.
Now we're moving on to our first public comment. Oh,
That's okay.
I'm so sorry. Now we're moving on to our first public commentary. Do we have any for the first portion?
We do. Kathleen Faulkner.
Kathleen Faulkner, 1640 Squareswood Court. My participation is regarding the mindful matters, kindness matters. So I want to share a story about kindness, about empathy, about the kind of leadership that truly makes a difference. This fall, a request came in, not for a Milford student, but for a student from an opposing football team. The request was that the game be recorded and shared as a hard copy, as the father of an opposing teammate, or of the opposing team, could not attend. He, in fact, had just been admitted to hospice. Phone calls began between the athletic director and the assistant coach. The coach said, "We can do better. Let's figure out a way how to let this father watch in real time." Lucky for me, I got to be the practice dummy, making sure the system worked for someone who did not have the same access as the athletic director and coach. With some troubleshooting and double checks, we had hoped everything would work when it was game time. The game was played and everything worked exactly as planned. A week later, an email arrived from the student's family's friend. It read, "I want to extend my gratitude to you making arrangements to have the middle school game recorded and live streamed last Wednesday for my friend and neighbor. What you did was truly amazing. I am so thankful to be a part of a community that was caring like you. The game was the very last time this father got to see his 12-year-old son play a football game or any sport. I'm sad to say that he passed away this morning with his wife by his side. Thank you again for all that you did to make this happen for someone you didn't even know. You did an incredible thing, and the family will forever be grateful." Leadership, empathy, strength, compassion, teamwork, determination, love for a student, for a family, the bond of football, of fathers and sons, of families. Mark Trout, the middle school athletic director, is an exceptional human being all the way around. He made sure this moment in memory could exist. He connected with everyone necessary to make it happen. Bittersweet as it was, he made it real. This is the kind of leadership we should all aspire to, the kind that puts humanity first. Thank you.
Do we have any other public participation?
Not for this round, no.
Okay. We will be moving on to mission moments. And tonight, we would like to pause to honor our local veterans and the service that they've given to our country. And I want to highlight a member of our own Milford family whose daily work embodies the same sense of commitment, leadership, and purpose. Sergeant Donald Enan, our JROTC instructor at the Live Oaks Career Campus. Sergeant Enan doesn't simply teach JROTC. He leads young people in our community to rise to challenges, build character, and pursue excellence. Under his instruction, the Live Oaks Raider team has earned recognition at the regional and national levels, helping students discover strength, resilience, teamwork, and service. His work matters because it reflects our district's values of student-centered, future-ready, and collaborative. Today is a day about service, sacrifice, and leadership. And Sergeant Enan reminds us that those qualities are not only for after high school, but are lived right out here in our halls and classrooms. We thank him for his dedication and leadership of our student cadets, and we are grateful to have him in Milford and proud of the impact he makes on our students and community. And with that, we're going to move into treasurer reports. Michael, do you have an update for us?
We do. We're going to jump into the performance audit and review that a little bit, and then that will provide us with 2 additional updates as well, since that's mainly what we worked on in our committee. You want to bring that presentation up, Doug?
Yes, Steve. I know he's here somewhere.
Oh, he's going blind back there.
Yes, there we go.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the performance audit, but it's been up on the website, but we're officially announcing it tonight that it's out there. Anybody can go and visit the Milford Schools website, go under the Treasurers tab, and then you can see the 2025 state performance audit there. You can download the whole document, and there's also the overview that we'll go over here today and probably a little bit more detail that's on there as well. I'm not sure how you have yours laid out, Doug. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So, a little background. About a year ago, the board was asked if we would investigate a performance audit, which means ask the auditor of state to come and do a deep dive into our financial situation, specifically our expenditures. And to give you a little more background, in 2008, we had a performance audit that was given to us because we were in fiscal caution. Currently, we're not in fiscal distress. So this was an opportunity for the auditor of state to come, do this deep dive, and tell us how we compare to some specific peers. If you go to the next slide, you can see these are the peers which they used to look at us versus them and say, okay, they're very close to you as far as enrollment, they're very close to you as far as revenue, and very close to you as far as expenditures. And how do we compare as far as person to person, bus route to bus route, athletic team to athletic team. So that's really as deep as they went. But as far as expenditures, they were able to tell us, hey, we have recommendations. And to be honest with you, if you want to go to the next slide, rip off the Band-Aid, this is what they recommended. So as you can see, there's on here 4 specific areas of focus. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. A 5th one is not on here, and that's facilities. And the reason facilities is not on here is because we're actually understaffed compared to our peers. But if you look at the bottom line right here, and I know it's hard to see, so we'll go right here, they're recommending that we reduce expenditures by $2.1 million. What they're doing now is they're trying to break down and say, okay, your peers, and we'll start right here with general education teaching staff, you have 3.5 more teachers than your peers do. So if you want to be in line with your peers and save money, we recommend that you look at that. What we're going to do is go into our own deep dive and come back either monthly or every couple months, depending on the data, and have a nice conversation with the board, superintendent, administrators, and say, okay, there's more to this than just let's reduce 3.5 teachers. We have to decide what's good for the district, what's good for the students. Keeping that in mind, the focus is really the 2.1 million, not what's recommended here. The other thing to understand is the data that they used, the expenditures that they used, the revenue that they used is based on fiscal year 24. We're currently in fiscal year 26. Some things have already been started. I don't have to go into this because we all know about transportation is at state minimum. So that is one area that when we come back, Mr. Johnson, Peterman, they will come here and they will start talking about what was recommended through the state audit and what we've already done and what we currently do. And if we change things and go to their recommendations versus what we're already doing, how that will affect you. The other thing to keep in mind is when you look at peers, sometimes EMIS coding is different than it is with us.
What's EMIS coding, Doug?
Correct. EMIS coding is how we track the students and the staff. That's what gets sent to the state of Ohio. So a gifted teacher might be coded differently in one school than it is here. So these are things that we want to bring forward.
So let me jump on a quick overview
Sure.
of the 4 sessions. So again, it's important to repeat that this is something we took on voluntarily. The things that are outlined are options and not mandates for future considerations, right? So these things don't have a specific timeline on them, and as Doug mentioned, these are things that we'll break down each one in more detail. The audit notes that our enrollments declined over the last several years. We've been reviewing that ourselves, and we're looking at a range of potential causes, which are birth rate changes, shifting house patterns, transportation availabilities. more families choosing private or online options, and the financial barrier created by tuition-based full-day kindergarten. So we'll continue to study these trends carefully as part of our long-term planning, and then any staffing adjustments will follow contracts and will be approached through attrition first. Employee health care is another area. The audit identifies potential future savings related to health care contributions, but these types of changes can only be made through collective bargaining. This information will help frame future conversations as insurance costs continue to rise statewide. The other part is transportation, as Doug said. So the audit confirmed that moving to state minimum busing was a financially necessary step. It also notes that our new transportation contract does increase the per bus cost as routes are eliminated. So we'll need to monitor several key data points going forward. Things like the number of elementary students per seat, whether bell schedules allow for efficient routing, how reduced mileage affects state funding, and how contract pricing shifts when routes change. Our goal is to balance efficiency, cost, and student impact while we continue to operate under state requirements. And then the last is extracurriculars. We invest more in student activities than peer districts do, not only athletics, but activities as a whole. The updated fee structure implemented this year is expected to reduce the general fund subsidy. We will continue evaluating this area as part of our normal budget cycle and the ongoing work already in motion. And then over the next several board meetings, as Doug mentioned, we'll break down kind of an area at each meeting in more detail to help clarify the work that we've already done and the work we'll do moving forward. The one point I did want to point out that's at the front of the audit is Milford's low tax effort. So one of the most important pieces of context in the audit is that Milford is one of the lowest tax school communities in Ohio. The simplest way to picture that is if 100 Ohio school districts lined up from the highest funded by local taxes to the lowest, Milford would be way down near the end of the line. Not because our school costs less, but because our community contributes less locally than almost everyone else our size. So when costs increase, transportation, insurance, staffing, we feel the pressure sooner. It doesn't say that the community should or shouldn't do. It doesn't say what the community should or shouldn't do. It just explains the math behind our financial picture. And the last piece is where we talked about declining enrollment. So we will be looking more at our what we talked about before around all-day kindergarten. Because declining enrollment was one of the audit's major themes, we want the community to know that we've been reviewing full-day kindergarten as part of our overall enrollment strategy. This has been an ongoing discussion for months. We'll be looking at the long-term academic benefits documented by our principals, the number of families who select half-day due to tuition, how transportation changes affected enrollment decisions, the debt and payment plan challenges, and the competitive landscape since nearby districts offer full day at no cost. So we'll continue to analyze the financial impact, the staffing implications, and the logistical considerations, and we expect to bring more forward at the December meeting to make that goal more clear for our district moving into enrollment for next year. And that's a full review.
All right, so this is a great opportunity for us. So a deep dive has been done by the auditor of state into our expenditures. It means then we have a roadmap. We can start talking about each area that affects each and every one of us, whether it be a local taxpayer, the Board of Education, and of course you, the students. And you can slide down or go to the next slide. So what we've done here is we've kind of broken down the areas into human resources and what some of the key findings from the audit are and some of the action steps that they recommend. And if you go through the next slide, you can see insurance. Now, insurance, we've had debate over the years about our high deductible health plan with the HSA. They actually did not have an issue with that, but they did have an issue with our PPO. Luckily, we don't have a lot of staff members that take advantage of the PPO. So recommendations are we work with our insurance consortium to help these individuals find a better plan for themselves and their family. Go down the next slide. Transportation. Okay, transportation is a big deal. We know it's a big deal. Again, we will have Mr. Johnson and Peterman come. They will have a breakdown of what's happening. And then the next slide, I think, is facilities. We talked about that, where we are actually significantly below our peer average for the number of facility employees. Again, something that'll be monitored, but we still have to keep in mind that the idea behind this is what do we need to reduce in expenditures. And then the next slide is our extracurriculars. Now, extracurriculars, the reason that this is brought up is because we supplement out of the general fund. Now, the general fund, when we ask for a levy, that's what we're asking, is to support the general fund. So athletics is supported mainly through the general fund. Gate revenue supports a large portion of uniforms, buying referees, umpires, things of that nature. So what we have to do is look what we're doing here compared to our peers, but also what's good for everyone in the district. And if you go to the next slide, so these are some additional recommendations that are made by the Auditor of State. To review our collective bargaining agreement, which means the language in there, and see how it can benefit both the union and ourselves, meaning the district. Additional staffing reductions. Again, the Auditor of State's always going to make that suggestion. Implement base and step salary freezes. Again, a standard requirement from them. And to reduce general fund subsidy from extracurriculars. Right here, investigate revenue enhancements. That's fancy wording for run a levy. So, right now what I'm trying to tell everyone is don't anyone panic. All we're doing is starting our in-depth analysis of what we need to do and what we believe is good for everyone. So, this is a roadmap. This is just the beginning for us. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about it. If we don't come to a conclusion 1 month, it might come back 5 months from now because we need more data. So, and then if you go to the next slide, these are some positive takeaways. So, several areas showed no need for reduction. Salaries, wages, employee benefits are consistent or below peer averages. Again, the high deductible health plan with the HSA. Some adjustments recommended. We've already started. Again, fiscal year 24 data, EMIS, students, staffing mainly. Fiscal year 25, we're in fiscal year 26. Some things have already occurred. As we progress forward, we'll be able to see how things are shaping up, which means how does our bank account look? How does our 5-year forecast? So, any questions? Any additional comments?
Just a quick comment. Anytime we make adjustments, it's like 1.5 years or 2 years before we realize what those are. So like, we'll see this now, we'll have conversations about what it looks like, we'll decide on a change, but then we won't really see it till the next fiscal year. So I do appreciate all the work that's been done by all of the administration, even in the difference between the data they were looking at and what we're seeing right now. There's
And that's a great point. And that's why I keep bringing up that this is fiscal year 24 data. So when the board told me to call the Auditor of State, well, we were in the middle of fiscal year 25. So all we had was fiscal year 24 data. So we really can't take that data and put it in here and give you the report that's needed because that would take another year. And then we're still a year behind. So.
Yeah, I thought the auditor actually explained it in a really great way. She was saying that you have to stop the data at some point. Otherwise, you would just continue on forever and never have meaningful data to work with. So I feel like now we have really good data to work with. We have a good place to start from, like you were saying. And I think it'll be really helpful to go through section by section, month by month, and just take a really good deep dive looking into the data, looking at what we can do, looking at what is important to our district and how we can best serve our students. And I also want to commend, like you were saying, our staff, because when the auditors met with us, they said that our staff was above board with their professionalism and so willing to work with them, getting data to them, and we had excellent participation from our district. So that takes our people away from their normal jobs so that they could work with the auditors for this, and they definitely should be commended for that.
Doug,
Yes,
when
ma'am.
will we know when, like, the pay-to-play changes from this year?
Well, that's more data that we're collecting.
Yeah, so we won't know till the end of the year, or would we?
On a monthly basis, we'll be able to start reporting how we're doing compared to last year. And, you know, if we already threw out, well, the auditor state did, the 2.1 million, what have we collected to date, and how's it compared to what we're contributing?
And I think today was a nice overview, and when we get into the deep dive, I think the intent is for us to have more meaningful discussions, sort of like we do in our committee meetings, but more in front of the public, so you can see all of the things that are going into these decisions and all of the things that are going to move forward using this data.
Absolutely.
And I think some community sessions would be helpful too, like we had after the levy didn't pass, because this is a room that we can't really have conversation with the room per se, so it's nice to have those opportunities.
And
So-
that's a great point. That's something we're going to discuss, and how do we incorporate you all into the conversation. So, but I don't want anyone to panic or be scared right now. I don't want the employees to be scared. I don't want the students to be scared. I don't want the parents to be scared. All this is an opportunity for us to make ourselves better. I say it a lot, reduce expenditures, be fiscally responsible.
The more you tell me not to be scared makes
I
me
know.
scared.
I know.
Sorry.
Same.
I'll laugh when I say it. So, okay.
All right. So next, I'm going to need a motion for approval for the board reports.
So moved.
Second.
Doug, do you want to take us through those?
Sure. All right, so, Madam President, members of the board, I am excited to show you a snapshot of our finances through October. Steve already knows where to go, so he's sliding down. Through October of fiscal year 26. So through 4 months, you can see this is our bank reconciliation, and that we balance, which is important. That's between our Fifth Third account and our USAS account, which is our state software. So the state of Ohio and our Fifth Third account, our operating account, and payroll balances as well. And then the next slide, this is our investment report. So our investment report shows that year to date, we've earned around 1.2 million, which is important because who knows what's going to happen with interest rates, so that's going to start going down, obviously. But we're going to do the best we can. We have an awesome company, Red Tree, that works with us to make sure that they put our money in the right spots and don't put us in a frightful situation. And then the next slide, now this is my favorite slide. So this is a snapshot of the 5-year forecast. So this is the 5-year forecast that was submitted a month ago, right in here. Now if you slide down, Steve, you can see that the 5-year, keep going just a little bit more. You can see right there, we're projecting for the year a negative $1.9 million. What I like is this column right here because it tells us how we're doing year to date. This gives me the information that I want. Line 6.010, right now year to date, we're at a positive $10 million. That means we're doing things correctly. Plain and simple. So if we keep up that good work, that's why I say don't worry yet. Now, unfortunately, and I know I say this a lot, I'm always try to be a glass half full kind of person, we essentially only get paid twice a year. Property taxes only come twice a year, so we have to make it work. That's what makes it difficult, so you have to be fiscally responsible. Again, I know I say it a lot, but if we just keep hearing it, then we think it before we spend money. And then the next slide. So here's some pictures. So what this does is this shows our local revenue and how it's gone up from fiscal year 24, 25, into 26. And then our state revenue has gone up from 24 to 25, just down slightly from into 26, from 25 to 26. And then all other revenue is way up, which is awesome. And then the next graph, here's our expenditures. Now this is obviously the one we have to watch with a fine-tooth comb. The reason I say that is we don't make anything, we don't sell anything. Our revenue is constant. Our expenditures are all over the place, and that's what we have to watch. So salary and benefits go up each year, but they always will. That's common. It's right in here, purchase services, and you can see how it's down from 24 to 25 to 26. That's where our savings are right now. And then all other expenditures are down from 24 to 25, up slightly into 26, but a lot of times that happens because it's early in the year. You pay for things now that take you through the year, and then it catches up somewhat. And then our next slide, now, what this slide is here, part of House Bill 96, which is a biennium budget that's passed every 2 years. We are now, we've been informed through the House bill that we are not allowed to have administrative expenditures above 15%. Right now, they're sitting at 15.86. So we have to monitor this. Last year, we ended the fiscal year at 14.23. We haven't added any administrators. It's just the way that the expenditures are through the first 4 months compared to last year. They're always high at the beginning of the year. They start to go down because your expenditures, again, are heavy at the beginning, and then they slow down as the year goes.
So we'll expect those costs to go down?
The
Percentage.
administrative,
The percent, yes,
yes,
sorry,
yes,
the
because
percentage.
remember, a couple months ago, it was at 18%. So it's already gone from 18% down to 15.86. And if it doesn't, if we get in 8 months into the year, again, here's a tool that's telling us, okay, we need to do something. So we have a tool that's saying, hey, we need to reduce expenditures by 2.1. Well, guess what? This would be an area that we have to look first.
You were talking about the state budget bill. There are other changes around the property taxes and
Property tax
more
reform is in committees right now,
that
yes.
could impact us
That could, yes,
negatively.
yes.
Yeah.
So the low and short of it, it doesn't affect us as much because we're not on the floor, but it doesn't mean in the future it won't. That's what we have to keep in mind. So there's something that was passed in, I think the 70s, House Bill 920. So when we receive, or we ask for a levy, let's say it's 10 mil. So we ask for a 10 mil levy. It doesn't mean we're receiving 10 mils. You're actually receiving what 10 mils generates at the particular time that you ask for the levy. Then each year you come back, and if your property value goes up, the 10 mils go down because you're only allowed to collect a certain amount of money.
And did I also see a list that Claremont County properties are up for reappraisal in '26?
Well, that's it's
What's that?
triennial update.
Yep.
So we had a full update in '23, and it'll be a triennial update in '26, which basically means they look at statistics and say these are what homes are worth now. And then there'll be another full one 3 years after that. So it's a 6-year cycle.
But when that changes, I know when we saw it the last time, people felt a pretty significant impact on their houses. A lot of people did. But the school actually does not get very much of an increase, if at all.
No, we do not.
Even when that happens.
Because again, when you pass a levy, you only get a certain amount of money. Now, inside mills is different. Inside mills are shared between municipalities and us. The only difference there is there's no rollback. So when property values go up, whatever's tied to an inside mill, then we get full credit for that. So. Any questions? Other questions?
Sounds good.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I need a motion to approve contracts.
Second?
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I have a list of vendors for approval, and I need a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Nope.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. Now I have several donations to approve, and I need a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Doug, you want to remind us again on the Tri-Health Beacon donation for athletics? That's a sponsorship, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, obviously, thank you to everybody else on this list, for their donations. The Mirandas for the theater, Michael Mickna, and an anonymous donation to the DECA program. So thank you for that.
Okay, please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes. All right, we are now ready for our middle school update.
Fortunately, there's less and less of updates to do on the middle school every month because that means we're getting everything done. Parking lots are all in, sidewalks are all in. We are working on punch list items. If anybody's driven by the down Wolf Pen, the monument sign was installed a couple days ago. Working with Mr. Wells and his team to learn how to program that. It'll be more than just the date, time, and temperature, but so there'll be more to come, but we're working on that. The installation of the softball field will start next week. And again, continue to work on punch list items. The week of Thanksgiving will be a big week for our contractors to be able to come in when students aren't there to get some things done. So working on closeout. There's a lot of paperwork that comes with closeout. That's been a lot of our discussions between Conger and SHP, OFCC, and ourselves of working on that with the goal. We had an original goal of having closeout done by the end of this calendar year, but realistically it should be Q1 of 2026.
And the grass is looking fantastic.
That's the other thing that's actually starting. They were there today and they're starting to work on the finishes of the landscaping. There's still some trees and bushes to go in along that east field, and then finishing up the seating and kind of there's some punch list items with some bare spots on some of that seating. It does look fantastic from Wolf Pen. When you actually get up close, it doesn't look quite as good, but it takes a while. That field is not irrigated, so we're at Mother Nature's mercy as far as getting that watered. So typically, big field like that's going to take a couple years for the grass to really come in strong. So.
And what about the geese? Like, where did they come from?
They showed up about a year and a half ago. I don't know what to tell. They've been here more than just a couple of months. We didn't have geese on campus for years, and about a year ago they started showing up. I don't know what to tell you.
No, we got rid of Mount Milford. Now we have the geese. All right.
I do have a question. I've heard from a lot of people that they are wondering what is happening with that turn lane that is in front of the where the junior high used to be, which kind of turns into nowhere right now.
So actually, very shortly, the contractor who's doing the lane widening is actually going to use that area as a laydown area. So they'll put some gravel down. You'll see some pipe and some materials for a laydown area. They will restore that when the project's done. They're going to start working on Wolf Pen to do the turn lane project on Wolf Pen first, with the hope of completing that side of it before winter hits. The turn lane / light project at Eagles Way and 131, we don't anticipate that being completed until probably March of 2026, but there will be some utility work as well as widening of Eagles Way itself all the way up to 131 so that we can put the right-hand turn, left-hand turn, and then obviously the ingress lane. We're adding about 5 feet to the existing Eagles Way.
On Wolf Pen, will there be a right turn lane, a longer right turn lane for people to come in?
So there'll be a right turn lane. I think it's about 25 feet from the ingress to the church parking lot to that new north access road. There'll be a turn lane there, but then the turn lane that exists, that will continue all the way down to the light at Eagles Way.
Okay, so it will come all the way
Yes, it'll come all the way down, and then the curb cut that Ms. Mason was referring to, once they're done with that curb cut will go away.
Makes sense.
All right, any other comments? Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, next we have the first reading of several policies, 1 through 28. Emily, you're on the policy committee, is that right?
Yes, so this was a lot of language that came out. It's really fairly, most of them are fairly minor. There really weren't any major changes. It just, we only look at them a couple times a year when they're not really big changes. But based off of the budget bill, there was some tweaks of how we have to discuss things. I don't know that there are any any that are significant changes.
Okay. And then we also have one policy to rescind, and this is the first reading of it as well. All right. Moving on to personnel, and I have an update. All right. So the district continues to review compensation structures and staffing needs to ensure consistency and alignment across all roles. Discussions around salary schedules and pay frameworks are ongoing as part of our broader effort to create a fair, sustainable system for the future. We also want to recognize this month several dedicated educators who have shared their intent to retire at the end of the school year. Together, they represent more than 150 years of service to Milford schools. Their care for students, passion for teaching, and lasting impact on our classrooms and community are deeply appreciated. We have Kristen Baker at the middle school with 25 years of service, Tara Bales at McCormick Elementary with 32 years of service, Patrick Murphy at the Academy with 30 years of service, Trina Panko at the high school with 24 years of service, Rochelle Rapp at the middle school with 28 years of service, and Mirren Sullivan at the high school with 12 years of service. We are grateful for their dedication and wish them the very best in the next chapter. In staffing updates, we have new hires that include part-time custodians at both the middle school and the Miranda Center, as well as 3 aides filling recently vacated positions. Supplemental assignments for wrestling are being finalized, and baseball volunteers will also be approved for the upcoming season. So we have, I need a motion to approve human resources businesses from G1 through 4.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will,
Yes.
Mrs. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason.
Yes. Now we have a curriculum and instruction section, and do you have an update on that?
I do. So we had two big topics this month were cybersecurity and the options to meet it. I don't know if I saw Emma Walker here, but she has done a really good job of connecting with other school districts and figuring out cybersecurity. It just changes so rapidly, and in order to keep us safe from phishing attempts and keep accounts safe, we have a lot of data we want to make sure that does not get out. So we're really she's looking into those options and what we need to meet the need there. And then we also, Michael sort of alluded to it earlier, had a good discussion around what funding all-day kindergarten would look like. And one of the big things that we talked about is when a family comes for kindergarten, they end up staying, right? We want to educate as many students as we can. If they start somewhere else at kindergarten, the chances go down that they'll come here for first grade. So we want to make sure it's an opportunity for all families to be involved in Milford schools. So those are our big two topics.
Yeah.
And then we have some curriculum pay is our agenda item for tonight.
All right. So I need a motion to approve curriculum pay.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will, Mrs. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason.
Yes. Now we have business operations, and we will be talking about Pattison and Mulberry controls upgrade. I need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Jeff, do you want to tell us about those?
So this is doing upgrades to our HVAC controls at both Pattison and Mulberry. The controllers that we currently have on our VAV boxes, our air handlers, some of our other mechanical equipment is outdated. You're not able to purchase it. It's not supported anymore. So this will bring these two buildings fully up to the current standards.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will, Mrs. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason.
Yes. Doug, you said that we do have public participation. Okay. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone of our public participation and meeting conduct policies. Tonight's business is a business meeting of the Milford Board of Education that takes place in public. It's not a public debate or a back and forth discussion. We hear and appreciate the community's perspectives, and public participation is a valued part of our process. The second public participation is open to all matters and will be for a maximum of 30 minutes. Individuals will be permitted 3 minutes to present to the Board of Education. Complaints against a school employee are not permitted in public session until the defined lines of communication have been met. The public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. Outbursts, interruptions, or comments from the audience during another speaker's time are not permitted. If disruptions occur, I will pause the meeting or ask individuals to leave so that we can conduct our work. Additionally, for student safety and privacy, we are asking speakers not to share names or identifying details of students. Thank you in advance for your cooperation and for helping us maintain a respectful and orderly meeting. And with that, we will go to our first speaker.
First speaker, Dustin.
Bear with me, guys. I am not a public speaker. So let's see how this goes.
As a reminder, you don't need to state your name, your address, simply your name.
Dustin Faulkner. You cannot lead a program, a school, or a district without first being a protector of students. When bad things happen, people often say, if we had only knew, if we only knew. But the truth is, in our system, too often, bad things are allowed to happen. When an athletic director partakes in questionable financial dealings, ignores policies, laws, and credible allegations, when complaints are buried, toxic environments are allowed to fester unchecked, and friends protect friends instead of students, bad things happen. Protecting students is not a procedural detail, it is a moral obligation. Period, full stop. Every student deserves a safe, supportive school where they can learn and grow. Many of our kids come from really hard places. School should not be one of them, ever. And I don't see him here today, but it's telling that the booster president chooses loyalty to a friend over the safety of students. And there's a price for everything. But that price, what's the price of safety? And I'm ready to write that check right here. But not to the boosters, who value donations over protection, but for the students themselves. Every athlete, every student, from the Division I recruits we have here today to the quiet kids that sit in the stands during games. Everyone, every single student deserves to get out of high school unbroken, whole, and alive. I would trade every fundraiser dollar, every win for mental health and well-being of our students. And I wish I could say the same for for some of the people in this district. I've spent my entire professional career fighting for kids. I've faced and defeated more powerful opponents in the name of mental health and well-being. An uninformed booster president, a dishonest superintendent, and an unfit athletic director do not intimidate me. I will fight loudly and relentlessly for those who have been silenced, intimidated, and ignored. And everybody, hear these words. Hear these words, because there are no gray areas. You either value our children, their safety, their mental health, their physical well-being, or you stand among the monsters that we fight. That being said, I would like to thank the school board for your time, attention, and consideration of this matter. Despite the uninformed noise and the misinformation surrounding it, you've allowed the investigations to play out, sought counsel, reviewed the evidence, and acted in the best interest of the students, and the district is better for it. Thank you, guys.
Kathleen.
Kathleen Faulkner. I'm a parent. What we are facing right now is not just a personnel issue. It's a test of this district's integrity. Across the country, from Penn State to Michigan State to the women's gymnastics program, we see what happens when leaders in athletics fail to report abuse and others choose to protect them. In every single case, the pattern is the same: silence, loyalty, and the belief that protecting reputations matters more than protecting the students. And in every case, that silence destroyed lives and institutions alike. Here we have an athletic director who failed to report abuse allegations, but also covered up other programs' misconduct and who disregarded district policies meant to protect students. That is not leadership. That is betrayal. This is not my opinion. This is a fact, and it's in the district's own report. But what is equally troubling is that some of our own coaches and community members are using their positions, their booster networks, and their voices to defend and protect this individual, even after these facts have been made clear. This is deeply concerning because when coaches who are entrusted with the care and character development of our students continue to support someone who has violated that trust, it calls their own judgment and values into question. Using influence, networks, and personal loyalties to shield someone who has endangered children is a gross breach of trust, an ethical violation, and it is absolutely vile. Therefore, I'm asking for the resignation of the Athletic Boosters president, whose leadership has contributed to enabling this behavior. Further, all coaches who have signed their support to someone who has publicly documented evidence of misconduct without considering the consequences for the students who endured the abuse and toxic culture that was created undergo additional education on abuse prevention, mandatory reporting, and ethical responsibilities to the students that they are entrusted to protect. This culture to protect the system first is absolutely terrifying. We teach our students that character is what you do when no one is watching, but our community is watching. Our students are watching. And what they see right now will define how safe they feel to come forward in the future. This is the moment to show courage and not comfort, to prove that loyalty to a person will never outweigh our duty to protect students. If we fail to act, if we excuse or overlook misconduct for the sake of convenience, then we send a dangerous message that in this district, power protects itself and children come second. Our children and their safety are not for sale.
Connor.
Connor Peck. Good evening, and thank you for the chance to speak. I am Connor Peck, resident, voter, and proud head coach of Milford men's lacrosse. Yesterday, I sent the unified letter signed by over 30 Milford high school coaches representing over 20 athletic programs. Together, we serve over 750 Milford high school athletes and thousands more through the youth programs in Milford. We wrote to express our strong support for Athletic Director Aaron Zupka. Many of those coaches, students, and parents of students are here tonight or following closely because we believe Aaron is an honorable, effective, and high-performing leader among the best this district has. I've also heard from many who share our views but choose not to add their name to them, fearing backlash or retaliation. If that is how this administration operates, so be it. We can all find another place to coach. If that's not how this administration operates, then you have an opportunity now to listen to the majority of the public, to listen to your staff, to listen to the students who have shown up to show their support tonight, and to the rest of the public, and lead with transparency and integrity. That's what most of you promised when you campaigned for these positions, and those words, transparency and improved communication, are still listed under some of your names on our public website. These words mean more than private executive sessions or closed-door meetings with disgruntled individuals trying to tear others down. They mean listening to the people you serve and standing behind those who serve with excellence, even when they make minor and rare procedural mistakes. On the topic of improved transparency and communication, I wonder if you, the board, have considered the impact the past week has had on the staff and students at Milford High School. Have you reached out to the athletic staff that's keeping the lights on to reassure or support them? Have you given a reason for other administrators, staff, or students to believe that you'd have their backs if they've needed it, that you're willing to be responsive and communicate with them in good faith, or that you'd be willing to help develop them if they made a minor mistake? Everyone will know the answer to these questions in the coming days and weeks. In Milford, we do not need more bureaucrats in leadership positions that act behind closed doors and hide behind procedures. We need servant leaders who aggressively, selflessly, and fearlessly work to enhance the experience and growth of our students and systems. We need more Aaron Zupkas, and we need Aaron Zupka specifically. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next, please.
Andy Horn.
Andy Horn, the boys varsity boys golf coach. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I agree at 100% what the gentleman just said. 100%. Aaron's done nothing but good for the golf team. It's a small part of Milford, but he's done everything humanly possible, and he's one of the best ADs I've ever met in my entire life. Thank you.
Catherine.
Catherine O'Brien. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Katie O'Brien, and I'm the current junior varsity girls golf coach at Milford High School. I have coached in some capacity now for Milford for 5 years, spending 2 as the varsity head coach and 3 as the JV head coach. I teach middle school science and spent my first 3 years in Middletown City Schools and the last 7 in Loveland City Schools. My husband and I are also residing in Milford with our 1.5-year-old son and have another one on the way in March. I have the sincere pleasure of working with Aaron and have as my athletic director for 9 years here in Milford and in Middletown. In my 3 years with Middletown, I coached both golf and softball at the middle school and high school level. As a first-year teacher in 2016, I first met Aaron when I approached him with a desire to begin the middle school co-ed golf program. Aaron intently listened to my proposal and enthusiastically supported the creation of this program. He knew that the need was there and that the program would serve and benefit our students. This mindset is what makes Mr. Zupka the selfless, dedicated, and innovative leader he is. Aaron takes the time to carefully listen and consider other perspectives. He acts without judgment and always acts in the best interest of the students he serves. He is a leader and a servant, committing his time and energy well beyond his typical job title. As a mother with young children, I know that Aaron has had to sacrifice time with his own family to dedicate himself to this position. Early mornings, late evenings, weekends, and holidays, he makes himself available at any moment of any day for any matter. As a girls golf coach, I am well aware of how our sport is typically looked compared to other larger, more community-focused sports such as football and basketball. With that said, that's not Mr. Zupka's perspective on girls golf. Every one of our 5 seasons I've coached for Milford, he has supported our team with his physical presence at numerous matches, tournaments, and special events during the season. Many times we've had opposing coaches approach us and comment about how visible and supportive our AD is. We've also had parents from opposing ECC schools make similar comments to us, saying things like, "I wish our AD came out to watch our girls play golf." Aaron creates opportunities for all athletes, no matter the sport, no matter the time it will take, no matter the effort that he inevitably will have to contribute. He has taken Milford's athletic programs and facilities from the bottom, meeting bare minimums, to the top of the conference in a short amount of time he has been at the helm. He does not idly sit back and wait for things to happen. He has the enthusiasm, innovation, passion, and guts to make them happen for our kids. As an educator, this has always been at the forefront of my own teaching philosophy. Schools and those in education should always put their kids first when making any decision. That is what I ask that you do today. Aaron Zupka is everything our kids need in an athletic director. He is committed to Milford families, their athletes, and by extension, the entire Milford community. It would be catastrophic for Milford schools to lose Mr. Aaron Zupka, and I hope that you all take a moment and recognize that today. Thank you.
Next, please.
Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Lynch. This is a first for me. So I'm a Milford resident, taxpayer, voter. I don't work for Milford schools. I am an educator. I've coached at Milford. I coached with Connor and a lot of these guys back here, and it's been a pleasure. I'm just here to speak on Aaron Zupka's behalf. I've known him for a long time. I know him to be a man of high character. I heard some stuff about allegations and equating to whatever went on with Michigan State and Penn State, which are tragic and horrible circumstances that are devastating to the people involved. I hear that, I'm like, wow, then there must be some criminal charges or something coming, because if you're going to throw that out there, that's reputation smearing right there, potentially slander, and I hear proof. Where's the proof? Okay, that's just, I didn't have that written down, but I don't know. To say that about someone who's not here, anyway, let me talk about AZ a little bit. I know him as a great man. I know him as a family man, high character, high morals, doesn't lie. He puts the kids first. The proof to me is not just in like all the ECC championships and all that cool stuff, because when I coached at Milford, they weren't winning that stuff. There wasn't a lot of school pride. And actually, I think the coolest thing is the golden megaphone that y'all won, having the flock being the #1 student section in the state of Ohio. That right there says there's school pride, memories that these kids are gonna last forever. That I honestly didn't see. Not saying it was bad, but it was kind of a neutral. It was more apathetic. And as far as merit goes, the educational system, I know I work in it. As far as people that work in it, it doesn't often reward merit. You know, it's just people that can play the game well, that know the system well, that know the bylaws and all that stuff well, that maybe have some credentials and say all the right things. But AZ is a man of merit. I could say right now, I've worked with some good ADs. I've seen some other ADs. He's the best I've ever seen. And then the last thing I'll say, I only got a short amount of time, and I think the kids should talk. You know, local elections actually matter. I teach government, and I didn't think they did. We focused on the presidential election, all that kind of stuff. You could see school board has a direct effect on your lives. So take the time to know who you're voting for. I would say definitely vote. I'm not saying specific to anybody up here. I don't know them. They could be fine. But this has a huge impact on your lives. So think about that when you're 18, you're old enough to vote. And don't just because someone's running and they want to be in charge of something, doesn't mean they're qualified or going to make the best decisions on your behalf. Maybe there's some people out there that can run. That's all I got to say. I think getting rid of AZ would be a travesty for Milford. And I know he's watching. AZ, we support you, buddy.
Next, please.
Tom.
Next, please.
Can I pass for my daughter? Am I allowed to?
Is she on here?
Olivia Zaya?
I'm going in order, so if she's on, did she give me a green sheet of paper?
Yes, she did.
You did? That's up to you.
Is that okay with the board?
Yeah, I mean, she's got a piece of paper, it's fine.
Yes,
I mean,
that's fine.
Who doesn't love Olivia?
Hello, my name's Olivia Zaya, and I'm a senior here at the high school. You might recognize my name from my sideline athletic reporting for our athletic program, but today I'm here to talk about something different. I know there's a lot of information out there regarding Zupka's actions or lack of, and I'm sad by what I've heard, and I'm sad of how it's handled. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the impact he has made on my life. I could talk on and on about Aaron Zupka and the amazing things he has done, but instead I will focus on the most impactful thing he has done for me. I met Zupka at the beginning of my junior year, and I had been in Milford and doing sports, but I had never really been to the athletic office. But I decided I was going to change that one day when I had the idea that I wanted to be able to do student-athlete interviews. I had asked the principal at the time if I could do a news interview or find a way to interview people. Unfortunately, that was turned down. When football season kicked off, I realized that I wanted to find a way to ask student-athletes questions while also getting their voices heard. That was when I asked Zupka, and he gave me the go-ahead. He could have shot down my idea, but he didn't. He gave me this opportunity to shine while he hopes it's successful. He also gave me the motivation to want to stay at Milford instead of transferring midway through my junior year. Now, as I'm looking ahead at colleges, I have a strong desire to go into sports broadcasting. Since then, I have grown a relationship with him and the entire athletic department staff, whether that is helping them out with pregame setup or filming bits and pieces of a game. Zupka has given me so many opportunities. I know hearing from one person isn't enough, but he has done so much to keep this community a wonderful place. Zupka spends countless hours at school, even though he has a young family and a wife at home. He does so much for every single team, whether that is showing up to a sporting event that is an hour or 2 hours away, or one that is being hosted right here in Milford. Everybody needs an Aaron Zupka in their life. Milford was blessed to have one, and I think it should stay that way. Thank you so much for hearing me out tonight.
Julie.
Next, please.
Julie.
My name is Julie. I am a parent of an athlete and a taxpayer, and I do want to comment on the people who are calling me a monster from my viewpoint. I know Zupka, I know his wife, I know his 2 daughters. So this is a bit personal for me when you say that he's a monster and you tear down his character when he is a father and a husband. Have you gotten the chance to know him? Have you gotten the chance to talk to him? Because all these athletes here, they've gotten a chance to talk to him. They got a chance to know him. He's given them hope. He's made them believe that they can go to the collegiate level. No matter what college that is, they can live their dream to go beyond here. I did have something written, but I was really moved by what Zupka's friend said, but I was also a bit hurt by somebody calling me a monster because I know somebody's character. I know their family. I know who they are. He has done everything possible for this school, for the athletes. I have 3 swimmers, and when COVID hit, 2 of my swimmers did not think college was possible. It was so hard to get back into training and to do everything that they needed to do. But Zupka believed in them. He was calling them, my son and daughter, the sibling duos, and he was doing all of these things to promote my children and to get them to live their dream at the collegiate level. It was uncertain. We weren't sure if they were going to do it, but they made it. They went to the Ohio State University, their dream college, because Zupka believed in them. He got them there. Not only that, my oldest was able to compete in the 2024 Olympic trials. Zupka believed in him, and he would call him, he would talk to him, he would support him in everything. When he found out he made the Olympic trials, Zupka texted my son congratulating him. That's the kind of person he is. He cares about every single one of you. He cares about every single one of your dreams. He treats you guys like your family, and he has never, ever done anything but good for this community and this school. And I will say the previous AD that we had, when my 2 children made it to state, he had no idea who my children were. No idea. But Zupka makes a point to know every single one of you on a personal level. And that's why I'm here supporting him, because he's a great man, a great person, and we need Zupka here to continue to take care of our student athletes and our coaches. Thank you.
Next.
Audrey.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Audrey Fox, and I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of Aaron Zupka and the lasting impact he has had on me, not only as a student and athlete, but as a person. When Aaron first arrived at Milford, the diving program received very little recognition or publicity. Our team was small with fewer than 6 divers. From day one, Aaron worked tirelessly to build our program into what it is today. I wholeheartedly believe that his leadership and his dedication are the reason we've experienced the success we have. He treats every athlete with utmost respect and genuine care. Aaron has personally arranged numerous interviews for my teammates and I, as well as increased media coverage to highlight and promote our program. He continuously goes above and beyond for all athletes, no matter the sport. True leadership reveals itself in times of challenge, and Aaron has faced every challenge head-on, no matter the circumstances. As some of you may know, I've attended the state diving competition for the past 3 years. Each year, swimming and diving compete on different days, meaning twice the travel and twice the commitment. The trip to Canton, Ohio is not an easy one, yet Aaron has consistently taken his personal time to attend both meets. His presence was never required, but he chose to be there to support us. That simple act speaks volumes about the kind of leader and person he is. On a more personal note, Aaron has been a huge part in helping me achieve my lifelong goal, earning the opportunity to dive for the United States Naval Academy, one of the most prestigious institutions in the nation. While that dream may have seemed far-fetched to others at the time, Aaron never doubted me. His encouragement, guidance, and belief in me played a major role in helping me achieve that level of competition. When he began, our diving boards were extremely outdated and unsafe, over 25 years old. He immediately took initiative to replace them, ensuring our facility met proper safety safety standards. In addition, Aaron has upgraded all of our uniforms and state jackets, even encouraging us to pose in them after dive meets for Instagram. This visibility and pride in our program is something I've never experienced before, and it is truly unmatched. Beyond his impact on individual athletes, Aaron has strengthened the entire athletic community at Milford. He's united coaches, athletes, and families under one vision of excellence, one that values effort, sportsmanship, and pride in our school. He doesn't just manage programs, he builds relationships. He celebrates every athlete's success, big or small. That sense of inclusivity and support is rare, and it's something our school thrives on. Aaron's leadership extends far beyond wins, records, or trophies. His influence has shaped a culture of dedication, integrity, and respect that will continue long after any of us graduate. I can say with complete confidence that our athletic department and our school community is stronger because of him. Thank you.
Grace.
Hello, my name is Grace Ham, and I'm a senior at Milford High School. But as an elected class officer, an avid member of many clubs and activities within Milford High School, a captain of the varsity volleyball team, I stand up here to speak for my peers. Living in Milford my entire life and being an athlete for the past 6 years, I've seen firsthand how Aaron Zebka has transformed our athletic programs and thus our community. I have never, and I mean never, met a student or coach who does not adore Zebka in the way he advocates for his athletes and transforms our athletic programs. So with that being said, it would be wrong if I was not standing up here advocating for him the way he advocated for all of us over the past years. I've had numerous people tell me that he is one of the best athletic directors in the state of Ohio, and I agree. I've always known him to go above and beyond, and I believe that his work speaks for itself. Winning 3 all-sports ECC trophies in the past 4 years and never having won one before his arrival is a testament to the work he has put into all of our programs, not just the big ones like football and basketball. Milford athletics is extensive, but he makes an effort to know each and every one of us. I can testify that his visibility within the community and willingness to spend every single night courtside or fieldside supporting our athletes and live reporting scores is one of the many examples of his dedication to Milford as a community. Between the students at Milford High School, we say no one loves their job as much as Aaron Zebka, and that's the truth. Whether it's coordinating spirit buses, highlighting the achievements of athletes, or even seeking support academically, he is your guy. He has a sense of compassion towards each player that is unmatchable by anything that my friends at other schools have ever experienced. Last year, when the volleyball program decided to make a coaching change, he made sure every athlete felt heard and made sure that we ended up with an amazing coaching staff and had a great experience. I mean it when I say he is truly irreplaceable. To the Milford School Board, I have the utmost respect for your judgment and decisions, but I wholeheartedly believe that the termination of Aaron Zebka's contract is the wrong decision. You were elected to represent us in our best interests, so please do not let us down. I'm a senior and my season just ended, so this decision will never impact me. But I am standing up here because I've always been taught to stand up for what I believe in, and I fully believe that Aaron Zebka is irreplaceable and as good as an athletic director that Milford is going to get. In firing him, Milford Athletics would lose an irrecoverable amount of culture and passion. This is your opportunity to right a wrong and demonstrate your loyalty towards the athletic director that has flipped the script for Milford Athletics and created a community within Milford High School that my peers and I will carry with us for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Next, please.
Megan.
Oh, it's that time.
We have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Are there more students on there? Because I will give up my spot to let a student speak.
Rebecca, Natalie, John.
Do I have a motion to extend the time?
So moved.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Go ahead. You still only have the 3 minutes, but you have your time.
Okay, good evening, members of the school board, our superintendent, and fellow community members. My name is Megan Stillwell, and I reside here locally in Milford. I am the swim coach and aquatics coordinator within this school district. I stand before you tonight to speak as an employee and a parent of the district and someone deeply invested in the culture and success, not only of our athletic programs, but our entire school district. I'm here to urge you to retain Aaron Zupka as our high school athletic director. As a staff member, I first must express my confusion and concern that there has been no communication to the coaching staff regarding his absence. All I know is our athletic director is not currently in his office, supporting our athletic programs as he has done so consistently in the past. So I'm speaking solely from the viewpoint of the experience I've had while working under Aaron Zupka. But I can tell you that his absence is felt across the department and highlights just how essential his daily presence is and proactive management styles are to our operations. My primary reason for joining this district, and indeed for staying, is the environment fostered by Aaron Zupka. His leadership goes beyond typical administration duties. They cultivate a culture where every sport is valued and given resources needed to thrive. This comprehensive support structure has a direct positive impact on our students and our community. We recently had a prime example of this and of this success, our 2025 state championship swimmer, Brady Campbell. 3 years ago, Brady was heavily recruited by private schools that promised superior facilities and more attention. But his family chose to stay here in a public school system because of the personal investment and elevated status our athletic director gives to the swimming program. This is a testament to the fact that when a student feels valued and supported, they stay where they belong. I actually come from a local public school different from here, where the athletic leadership and school board has a different philosophy. Small sports were not valued. They were overlooked and underfunded. The result of that neglect is a stark and visible. There is currently a pool sitting empty in the basement of that school, a symbol of wasted potential and administrative indifference. That school, which used to consistently place in the top 10 at state meet, didn't even have a single female qualified to districts for the first time ever in their school history. This only happened because they did not elevate every program like Aaron Zupka does. We must not let history repeat itself. Aaron Zupka understands the holistic value of high school athletics. He fosters an environment where character development, sportsmanship, and students' well-being are important, if not more so than winning. I am aware that leadership positions in athletics can be challenging and often subject to public scrutiny. However, I've never witnessed anything but a positive and supportive culture put in place by Aaron Zupka. He works tirelessly to support his coaching staff, but more important, the student athletes. When you have an AD that cares so deeply about these athletes, this in turn helps promote positive feelings towards the school district through not only the athletes involved, but their entire families who live and vote in this district. From my personal experience, all I have seen is an athletic director who is a proven asset to our community and a major reason why employees like me and students like our state champion chose this district. I implore you to recognize the immense value Aaron brings to our schools and to keep him at the helm of our athletic department. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Rebecca.
Next, please.
Hello, my name is Rebecca. I'm a Milford resident, voter, mother, and the proud coach of the high school girls lacrosse team. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Since learning about the possible termination of Aaron Zupka, I thought a lot about what I wanted to say. First, I want to lead with compassion and grace for everyone involved in the initial girls wrestling situation, for Aaron Zupka, the board members, the school, and most importantly, the students. Before I share how Aaron has impacted me personally, my team, and our program, I want to address something I continue to witness within our district and school board. I want to address something I continue to witness as both a resident and a parent: the lack of transparency and openness within our district and our school board. It is single-handedly breaking the trust the public once had. I truly believe much of this situation and others could have been avoided through honesty, openness, and communication. As a voter and a resident, I am disheartened to see this unfold, and to echo that local elections do matter. This is not political. This is not about sides. It's about doing what's right for our students and our community. We must stop letting division and the noise of social media keyboard warriors guide our decisions. We need board members who can stand up for our students. I understand this job is not easy, but when we continue to fail levies, when we hear of scandals and appear hidden from the public, and when rumors spread unchecked, trust erodes. Too often, people are judged and condemned in the court of the public opinion before facts are even known. And sadly, those facts are rarely shared with us. We forget that behind every headline is a human being, a father, a husband, a colleague.
When I bought my house in 2019, I was proud to say I was in the Milford School District. I wanted my future children to attend what I believed was one of the best districts around. Now, as a single mom to a 4-year-old, I can honestly say, unless there's meaningful change, he will never step foot in Milford schools. Now, to the impact Aaron Zupka has had on me and my program. Aaron is the ultimate leader, an incredible boss, mentor, and athletic director. He values every program and every student. I've seen discrimination and indifference towards women's sports and other athletic departments, less field time, no locker rooms, and general lack of support. Aaron is the opposite of that. He shows up, he advocates for us, he supports my players, listens to their concerns, encourages their ideas, and champions every accomplishment. He makes sure we know that we matter, and that is one of the greatest lessons a young woman can carry into adulthood. He challenges me to become a better person, mother, and coach. He's taught me how to lead with compassion, how to communicate without conflict, and how to truly listen to other perspectives. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Milford Athletics is what it is because of Aaron Zupka. I respectfully ask that you reconsider ever terminating him for the sake of the students, the staff, and the future of Milford Athletics.
Next,
Natalie.
please.
Hello, my name is Natalie Ciupelli, and I'm a senior at Milford High School. I am here to speak on behalf of Aaron Zupka. I am the senior class president. I have been a varsity lacrosse player all 4 years of high school, and my sophomore and junior year, I was also a varsity lacrosse captain. I'm very familiar with my school and the students inside of it, and I'm very familiar with our athletic department. I am here today to act as a voice for my fellow students, a voice that comes from inside of the high school. I ask you to please listen with an open mind and to hear out the students who will be affected by your decision. I firmly believe that Zupka is the best athletic director Milford could have. In his time at Milford, he has completely transformed our athletics. Whether it has been pushing for Miranda or Charity Lucas or the new stadium, he has continued to give his all into bettering the school. My personal experience with Zupka began my freshman year. Our lacrosse team was not meeting the expectations that both players and parents felt it should be. Zupka patiently heard out each and every parent and player and brought in a fresh coaching staff, whom I believe to be the best in the entire state. Our team was completely turned around. When I had previously questioned even continuing my lacrosse career, this quickly became the furthest thing out of my mind. And yes, my coaches are a huge part of this, but this began with Zupka. Just recently, we had our lacrosse meeting for this season. There is one specific moment that I would like to highlight. As a team, we believe we need to play with more unity this year. And my coaches said that this coming season, we wouldn't celebrate individual achievements until the end of the year. We need to focus on winning as a team instead of isolating ourselves. But I bring this up because of what my coaches said next. They said, "We know you deserve recognition, and we know that Zupka will have you covered." This is my story, but it is not unique to me. Every athlete under Milford High School's roof, Zupka watches out for. He knows all of us by name. He stays up to date and most importantly, gives us the recognition all these athletes deserve. He puts us first. I'm an elected representative for the student body, arguably the highest, and I urge you to consider how we will be affected. As students, we feel comfortable to stand up here and to speak for our AD. If you stand for your students, I urge you to value our opinions. Thank you.
John. John. That'd be a twice. I don't think we can do that.
No. That's not in our policy.
It's in our policy.
All right.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm John Blome. I'm one of the lacrosse coaches. I've coached for about the last 11 years. I've coached from Walnut Hills to Dublin Jerome to here. One thing I've never seen at any of those schools is an AD helping set up a JV field, taking tarps off the field, getting stuff out of the shed, where other coaches aren't or other ADs have never showed up at any other schools I've been to. The character of the man, he's not even here to defend himself, but this whole community is. I think you need to take that in consideration, not just some off-key, like someone said, keyboard warriors, and listen to your public and your students, the student body, and make the right decision. Thanks.
Thank you. That concludes our public participation. I'm going to bring us back to our agenda. I have 2 points that I want to clarify. The first is regarding secret meetings. To clarify, the board does not hold any secret meetings. All of our meetings are publicly announced and open to the public except for limited executive sessions as permitted by Ohio law for 6 topics that are outlined by Ohio law. So no votes or decisions are ever made in private in those meetings. And then secondly, I just want to make sure that expectations are clear moving forward. The board has an obligation to our policy BDC, which prohibits the discussion of individual personnel matters in public. We understand people are looking for answers, but we cannot and will not violate confidentiality policies that date back to 1990. What we can say is that this matter does not involve student safety or financial issues. Beyond that, we are unable to comment. And we ask that everyone respect those legal boundaries as we continue the meeting. So next, do we have any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, I do have one thing to close out. I would just like to share a brief update on our superintendent search process. This week, we completed our first round of interviews with all 6 candidates. We had an 18-member panel made up of teachers, students, community members, staff, and our building principals, and they participated in those interviews and provided valuable perspectives for the board to consider, which we will be hearing those perspectives. Next week, the Board of Education will conduct our interviews with the candidates, and from there, we expect to narrow the field down to 2 or 3 finalists. Once the finalists are selected, we will host a Meet the Candidates night where our community will have the opportunity to hear from the candidates themselves and provide feedback before the board makes a final decision. I want to thank everyone who's been part of this process so far, and we will continue to keep our community informed as we move forward. Our next board special meeting will be November 19th of 2025, and that will be here at the administrative office at 6 p.m. And then our next regular board meeting will be December 18th, 2025, and that will be here in the administrative office as well. Next, I will need a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of employment of a public employee.
And I did want to say quickly, it takes a lot of courage for the students to get up there and talk today, so very good on all of you guys. So. That's all I have to say.
All right, and just to clarify, we won't be coming back to vote on anything or make any decisions tonight. We will just be coming back to adjourn. So I need a motion to withdraw into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Will? Yes. Mrs. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.